So I'm a father of one. I gotta find a babysitter. I found care.com and I was blown away. Through the platform, I was able to find local and experienced candidates along with their reviews and rates, which were way more affordable than I anticipated. Care.com really put me at ease knowing that they were all required to go through a background check. If you're like me and you need to find someone reliable for your childcare necessities, check out care.com. Find the ideal sitters for your childcare needs.
With Blue Link Plus, you can access your Hyundai Tucson Limited remotely. Doors unlocked, temperature set, lost car found.
There it is.
Get complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
Welcome to the PowerCat Podcast, GoPowercat.com's Kansas State Athletics Show. Make sure you're subscribing to our show at Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, from the GPC studios, here's your host, GoPowercat publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
Welcome to the overtime.
Nobody cares! Nobody cares!
That wasn't exciting enough. It's the overtime. Well, I don't know.
That was good.
It was okay? I don't know.
We're at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's overtime and it's almost August and I'm about done doing these. Yay!
Nobody cares, nobody cares, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares, nobody cares, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody
Nobody
cares.
cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody
Freaking cares.
Nobody cares.
Fitz, Zach, and Coles right here in the GPC studios answering absurd questions from our wonderful subscribers. I would never call you folks absurd. Ask us anything, generally we'll answer as long as it's not too inappropriate. But you know, I kind of like the slightly inappropriate where I can talk about stuff without really talking about stuff.
Nobody cares, nobody cares, nobody cares. Nobody cares, nobody cares, nobody cares.
You know what I mean. Like how I like to talk about Taco Lucha and So Long Saloon, and I would talk about them even if they weren't the sponsors.
Right.
Well, they are the sponsors, and I'm going to talk about them. I love them. In fact, I think Zach and I don't know about Colsey Wolsey. His dad's in town. He might have other plans. We're going to go to So Long right after this. Is that where we're going?
I guess.
Oh, please
sounds
say
like
yes.
sounds like the plan.
Although I might starve to death before I get there.
We're going to make this a very short overtime.
Yeah, we're hangry right now, and our sponsors make delicious food, so
they pay us to eat there.
Right. Why wouldn't we? Make sure you go to both of those spots. They're landmarks. They're incredible. The food and service are amazing. You got to wait in line a little bit, but now you can stand in a human corral and drink beer, and that's what America's all about. But speaking of those fine establishments, let's get going with your questions from Wabash Station and the overtime. Cole, take it away.
All right. Speaking of our sponsors, King Jim 77, what's the best variation of a So Long Nancy? Is it a dirty? Is it a pirate? Is it the original?
It's the original. I'm an original guy. But also, I feel like it's time to add a fourth or fifth Nancy in there. I feel like having just, pirate is rum, dirty is vodka. Why not a tequila?
Don't they have a Mexican Nancy or a...
I don't think so.
I thought they did.
Oh, I don't think that would taste very good.
I don't think it would either, but hey, I'm just coming up with an idea. I feel like limiting yourself to two variations of the original.
How about Prohibition Nancy and you put gin in it?
Sure. I think that's a lot of syllables there. It doesn't ring off the tongue.
We got a dirty, we got a pirate.
Yeah, a Mexi Nancy with tequila. Why not? I wouldn't order it. I'd stick with the original. I'm just saying.
Shrubbery Nancy for gin. Look, I'm going to say something shocking and appalling to our sponsors. I do not like Nancy's. I don't like summer beers. I like beer, and I like lemonade, and I like pineapple juice, and I like vodka, and I like rum. I don't want any of those in my beer.
It's kind of like women's basketball.
I'm not going there on this public podcast. But yeah, I like women and I like basketball. I'm just not a fan. And one of my buddies is the inventor of the Nancy. He's the guy that walked into So Long Saloon in 2001 and said, hey, you got pineapple juice behind the bar. Can I have pineapple in my beer? I want a pineapple beer. And then everyone started doing it. I strongly prefer my invention, the banana hammock. Found it, Taco Lucha.
I would agree with that statement. I still don't believe that you actually came up with the actual drink, though.
We did. Yes, we did. I noticed they had the Pear Absolute Vodka back behind the bar, and I decided I wanted to try it, but let's have some fun. So they've got the banana mix for their margaritas, and I said, let's just do the banana mix with some pear vodka. It is the banana with the pear. It's literally what's inside a men's banana hammock, and it's delicious. It's wonderful. And
it's actually typed out on the menu as banana hammock.
And now it is.
Okay.
And what's funny is this is pre-pandemic.
I don't think it's on the menu, though.
I've seen it on something. It's
really?
Not on the official menu, but I've seen it on
the secret menu.
Yeah, like
lives on Pinterest.
My buddy Toby and I came up with this thing years ago. Then the pandemic hits and come back and people are ordering it. I'm like, what is going on? You got all new bartenders. How did this survive? Because usually a recipe like that, bartenders move on and stops getting made, but nope.
Shout out to Ryan Gilbert, though. I do think a reason why that has started again was because of you and because of Gilbert and the kind of the revitalization of that. I know my friends love the banana hammock whenever we go in there.
See, I feel like that's a thing where you got to give, you tell a bartender to make you a drink and you make it and they try it themselves and they're like, yeah, this is really good. And then they're just like, make me something like random.
Right.
And then they start doing that and they're like, what is this? Well, it's a banana hammock.
It's a boo-boo.
It's a boo-boo.
So, yeah, I'm not a Nancy fan. I literally don't like anything poured into my beer. And, I would think a summer beer that has lemonade and some vodka, that's right. I like all of those ingredients, and I don't like them.
I will say the Pirates are dangerous. They can get dangerous. You drink 2 thinking they're a normal Nancy, and you might think you've had 3. And then when you have 3, you might think you had 6.
I will take a orange juice with some pineapple in it and maybe a little like banana, margarita mix that they have with rum, and that can be my drink. I'll have that nice and fruity. That can be the Pirate Tim.
I will just say this. Do not ever go to another bar that is not in Manhattan, Kansas, and ask for either a Nancy or for them to put pineapple juice in a Busch Light because they will look at you like you're a crazy, wild idiot.
I think my favorite story is when Katie, I think it was a Big 12 Media Day she went to. She's at the bar and she's like, what is the worst beer you have? I'm like, probably Bud Light. Like, do you have pineapple juice? Yeah. All right. Can you mix those together? Just like, what is wrong with you?
It sounds atrocious, but people love it.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
And the key is bad beer. I mean, that's the whole. It's gone from old style to old Milwaukee, and now Busch Light, which I think Busch Light's the best of those beers. But
you know what's the best is the Rockabilly Nancy, because they don't make it with whatever they make it with it.
Right.
So long.
Because they don't have crappy beers on their tap, do they?
They have, I think it's
PBR.
PBR, yeah. I think PBR is what they make it with. Mm-hmm. And it's actually...
It does taste different.
So better.
Really?
Really is.
Very interesting. I just appreciate that other bars now have just said, okay, we're serving the Nancy. Mm-hmm. We know it started over there. Although, I mean, Rockabilly's co-owned by some of the owners of the other 2 places. But... it's now like people go around Aggieville and Manhattan. If you order a Nancy, they're going to know what it is.
Right. Very good. Next question comes from K-Ned. What personal highlights will each of you be putting on your own Apple Watch chains?
Probably me cranking out some badass tweets.
No, it's going to be like the video of you from your phone. So it's your phone's perspective of you sitting there typing with your eyes squinted and
people can see the focus, the game face that I put on when I tweet. Michael Swain, my sidekick for the drive, I have challenged him. He covers KU. I've challenged him with our premiere episode in late August to show up with a chain with his highlights from the drive last season playing on it. I think that'd be fantastic.
I bet you he could ask Jalen Daniels for the Apple Watch, just to be like, hey, I'm doing something. It'll be cool.
Is that all it was an Apple Watch?
Yeah, it's Apple Watch.
Yeah, it's an Apple Watch just in a
without the band and
within a chain instead of a band. It's like a pocket watch.
It's kind of a genius, actually.
I thought people gave him crap, but I actually thought it was fine.
Look, if you're going to media days wanting to stand out from the crowd, he gets an A+.
Like that's a good idea.
He gets an A+.
Sorry.
I can't imagine trying to pull that with Bill Snyder or even a Chris Kleiman. I was a little surprised Lance Leipold let him do it, but Jalen is the man when it comes to KU football right now. He's got some carte blanche.
I would have, for as far as the highlight goes, I would put on me. Just the back of my head, there was a picture that was taken. Our friend Glenn Kinley from KSNT sent me a picture, and it was of me and Zach. And
he sent it to me too.
Yeah,
Do you think he took that, or was that from like Chandler or something?
I have no idea.
I think Chandler was taking pictures of everybody.
My head looked like it was about 75 feet wide, though.
It is, actually.
So, I mean, I would definitely put that on there. I'd probably put a question on there of me the first time ever asking the coach a question and probably stumbling over my words a million times. That would definitely
Was that last year or 2 years ago?
No, it was probably like way before then. I don't remember.
Oh,
when it
not
was
the one at Media Days?
in particular. That one was funny, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up there and I'm like leaning, and then I had friends send me a picture, and one of my friends sent me and it says I was the next Stephen A. Smith, which I would probably put that on there too.
I thought it was funny how I was on ESPN there.
Right,
during
it was
the press conference.
I had no idea. Absolutely oblivious.
Well, I couldn't tell because usually they put the question answers up on the big screen, but it was on the big screen up above,
Right.
and I was like, well, in a normal year I'd be on TV right now, and then I get a text from someone that's can't be named on this podcast, and hey, here you are on ESPN. Nice Southern Hills hat.
Nice face.
I didn't ask any questions in the
Because it's
well. Look, let's point this out. If you're asking a question there, one of two things is going on. For the more likely thing is you want attention, or you're so lazy, which is why I ask questions. You want them to type up the answer so you don't have to. And now with Otter, that's just not the same thing. So we have those answers before we have it all roughly typed in by an AI that needs great improvement. Let's put it that way. But
it's like an A-I.
Or if it's a big enough, pressing enough of a question that's
Sure.
nationally relevant, and you want to be the one that asks it, fine.
Like the Iowa State gambling question. I felt like was a perfect use.
Truthfully, yes. But truthfully, I did not pay a lick of attention to anything other than Brett Yormark and Chris Kleiman. And quite frankly, even during Chris Kleiman's press conference up there, I was waiting off to the side for him to talk after, because that's where you get the better stuff. Mm-hmm. You get better stuff. I'm sorry, but after, that was my 4th media days that I've been to. You learn how to win for your own coverage and what's important and what isn't. And it was frustrating because on Thursday we had all day Wednesday. We were just kind of hanging out and had to wait for Thursday. It's so much better to go first on Wednesday.
Yes.
So much better.
Yeah.
And it was great that K-State did go first with the press conference on Thursday. Gave us, more time to work.
Fighting chance to get out of there.
Right.
We got home at 11:30 p.m. We left as soon as we were done and made really good time. But
I was still there like an hour and a half later. What's funny is I was trying to upload. I got 3 of the videos uploaded. Will Howard would not go up. And I'm just like, whatever. I'll wait. Went and did my card show. Came back to my brother's apartment, who had amazing internet. It's just like here. Took like 2 seconds to upload. Got it up, 10 o'clock or whatever. Which actually I think got us more views on it because it gave some breathing room there on the other stuff. So, yeah, it was fine.
Very good. From O2 Cat, the overhead door that rolls up so the football team can leave the locker room tunnel looks pretty darn bare. What entities should the football team partner up with to give it some, what word is that, Zach? Penché?
What? Panache?
Panache? I don't know. I don't know. I've never said that word out loud.
I've never heard that word.
So he's talking about sponsoring that door?
Yeah, I think that the Carl and Mary Ice family garage door sounds great. I think that the Shamrock garage door sounds great. You know, you could put a big old...
How about the Courtney Messingham 4th and 1 shotgun to Deuce Vaughn family garage door?
No, we're not going to do that. No. I think maybe the Ice family should sponsor it, but on the door will be a picture of Vanilla Ice, and at the bottom it'll say Ice family.
I was going to say I'll do you one better, because the Ices obviously are trains, the cat train before with the video, you know, and it's like a train tunnel. I don't know. That'd be weird to raise a tunnel up. It'd be kind of Looney Tunes-ish, but yeah, the Ice family is
Ice
family. A little too good.
I whispered that to him one time. I
really don't understand how they still have a bare metal door. It makes zero sense. It's so easy to wrap it.
Yeah, just make it purple. Put a PowerCat on it.
Spray paint a PowerCat on it.
Put the damn Cats logo on it. I don't care. Just do something with it. I just think they should take it down, go get it powder-coated purple, and call it good. Good. It looks so much better than what they've got.
You know, whenever I go somewhere and I talk about the Ice Center, and people aren't from Manhattan, they always look at me weird, like,
what do you have, skating?
No, or like, since when has Manhattan been very big into immigration control?
Oh. Yes.
Like, I'm talking about basketball here. So, I mean, I think you got to be careful about the Ice family garage door, especially if there's, like, you know, any, like, cages or anything.
Dan, that's probably something.
I didn't think of that. But.
So maybe you got to be careful with that.
Okay, well, we won't. No.
Do you think the Ices demand that their name go on everything they donate to, or do you think that K-State just does it and they're just like, please stop?
I just really want donors to emerge with the last name Fire, so we can have the Fire and Ice stuff. Like the whole field could be the Fire and Ice field.
What about Earth and Wind too?
I know. Oh wow, that's nice.
Have all 4 video boards covered.
Just give us something, folks. Make it better than just a great door.
Yeah, I agree. From TConman08, what restaurant/business is missing from Aggieville in downtown Manhattan that would make the areas better? Okay, I like this downtown question too, because I have some strong feelings about that now that I am starting to be a townie and no longer a student.
We really don't have a sports bar about sports. You know, I mean...
We're definitely not in downtown.
No, and maybe downtown's where you would need it. I mean, so many people are adverse to parking by Aggieville. Maybe if you put it over at the other end right by the parking garage, I don't know. But, I mean, I'm talking about a place where you can go in and there's a wall with a huge screen that if you're showing a K-State road game or the World Series or the World Cup, some significant event, it's there. It's
like a John's Tavern.
Sounds like a place that might serve wings.
But that's not quite it. That's more like of a restaurant that has sports on. They want to turn their tables and get you out of there.
Yeah.
If you're spending money, it's like any other sports bar. I don't want to.
I can think of one that's not that way. But I talked about this on another podcast. I went into a sports bar in Vegas that was so totally different because it was a horizontal shape, but you went in on the long side. Like we've got all these shotgun bars in Manhattan, which is just how the buildings are built. But this was like more of a box, but a horizontal box that you walked in and the bar was in the upper half of the box, and then you had the long skinny side just with 3 massive TVs that everyone in the bar could see. It was really cool. And it was, a step down too, so you weren't looking through people. It's pretty cool. I wish we had that kind of configuration in Manhattan.
I think you could pull off an amazing sports bar concept in the slots directly below the parking garage facing Manhattan, right next to Rally House, across from Radina's Chipotle and the wing restaurant I previously mentioned. I think you could do something great in there.
New York Crazy Wild Wings. All right, I messed that up.
Yeah,
New York Crazy Wings.
You screwed that up.
New York Crazy Wings.
Well, this didn't work.
Niagara Falls wing spot.
Well, if that garage doesn't get more usage, because it's amazing to me how little usage it's getting, they're going to have to lease out the top area. And I go back to what Texas Tech has. They have a bar up there with an outdoor area on their parking garage.
See, I think that people don't use it because not all of the slots are filled for retail. Like, if you put a restaurant underneath that people want to go to, they will park in the garage.
If you build it, they will come.
Right. I think right now, the state of Aggieville, there's too many bars where I think that people are generally responsible enough. Either they live close and they walk and they get drunk and they walk home.
Cool.
Or B, they are being responsible and, having a designated driver, multiple people driving, or taking Ubers. I think that you really do, if you want that garage to be full, all the time, you need more non-bar restaurants. And the time, when I say non-bar, I mean
nightlife.
Non-yard bar. And that's no diss at yard bar. Yard bar is what yard bar is.
It's a different demographic. Yeah.
But you have to attract the driving demographic that wants to come and eat, maybe drink a little bit, hang out, but park in the parking garage. But yeah, right now, driving to the garage and going to Johnny Cause or Yard Bar is just not what people do.
Correct. Very good, Zach. Next question.
I hate how you're turning into Fitz with your very goods and all right. Okay.
It's well done.
Just move on.
Outstanding.
Okay.
The humans will be back with more of the Overtime podcast.
If you're in the market for investment-worthy bags, watches, and fine jewelry, Rebag is the answer. Rebag is a luxury resale marketplace where each piece is carefully vetted and verified by experts to ensure quality and authenticity. If you're in the market, use Rebag to buy and sell finds from the world's top brands, including Hermes, Chanel, and Cartier. Head to Rebag.com to get 10% off your first purchase with code REBAG10. Shop today at Rebag.com. That's REBAG.com. And use promo code REBAG10 for 10% off your first purchase.
Welcome back to the Overtime. Speak Humans.
From Jay Bull and PSU. You talked about Survivor last week and the staff's lack of ability to succeed on that show. Of the whole entire GoPowercat staff, who would do the best in Big Brother? Can I just ask, what is Big Brother? Am I crazy for never having heard of this show?
We are a CBS property.
Oh, my God.
Big Brother.
Never heard of, I had to Google
You can watch the feeds on Paramount Plus.
Eric, can I say something real quick? I just want you to know, had I not sworn on my daughter's life to vote you in this week, I would be voting you out for the simple fact that how dare you use something against me that I told you about my boyfriend that I lied about to make me look bad, and tell Dick that you're going to keep it in your back pocket to hold against me so this house doesn't look at me the same, when you know damn well what I told you in confidence because I trusted you and you're going to use it against me. A lie that I said to my boyfriend when I was on drugs. Are you kidding me? How dare you?
Quite frankly, of the three big CBS reality shows, Big Brother is by far the worst.
So what is Big Brother?
It's roughly 16 to 20 contestants, similar to Survivor, but they're locked in a house in L.A. and no communication with the outside world. And basically, you do challenges, and then you eliminate people. It's similar to Survivor, but you're in a house.
It's more of a social experiment.
Yeah.
What kind of person are you? I didn't tell you those for you to go and blab around the house to use against me. That's so sick, dude. That's twisted.
I've never watched a single episode.
I watched it for one summer when I was managing the pools. One of the head guards was really into it, so I watched it just to have something to talk about, because I did find it interesting. But what was more interesting to me is that was when they were still putting like the live feeds. So like you're filmed 24/7, like you are literally on camera, and everything you do is recorded and documented. Basically, anything can be broadcast. Not necessarily, they won't broadcast everything, but you get the point. You are on TV all the time, potentially, but they would broadcast the live feeds late at night, and it was fascinating to watch, because like they're literally live. They're sitting in this house. They don't have TV. They don't have music. They don't have anything. They're just sitting there. They got to play games. Talk strategy, whatever. It was fascinating because of how boring it was.
Yeah.
Like it just like it would drive me insane having to just sit around with nothing to do.
But I think you would do the best. I think you would calculate how best to navigate the game itself.
I'd probably agree with that. From a strategy standpoint, I think that yes, I would figure out who's going to be the best allies.
I would tell everyone what's on my mind, which is not a good strategy at all. I would
see. I think that you have so much time though, and so much like thought. I think that everything's going to come out. Like I don't think I think at a certain point you'll let your guard down, and you'll just start talking to keep yourself occupied.
Well, now let me be clear. I will get so annoyed with people because I can't unplug from them that I will be mother effing a bunch of people. Just shut up, Tony. Just shut up, Tony. You never stop with your nonsense, Tony Altimore. So that was just a random name I pulled out. Anyhow.
I think you'd get evicted pretty early.
Okay.
Good.
Who would do the best on fear factor?
Not me.
No. Not me.
I think Gilbert would win.
Really? He seems he won't even eat beef.
You don't think he would drink donkey semen?
Well, he probably does that on his own time.
Do you
have
to bleep that out?
No, because it was about Gilbert. It's fine. Look, we can agree that probably on Survivor he'd be fine because he has no needs. He doesn't even need to shower. He doesn't need friendship. He doesn't need regular food. He doesn't need the internet. He doesn't. He could be fine on that. Now the other show would be Greatest Race, and again, I'm going with Zach.
The Amazing
Race.
I agree. I think Zach would do really well in that.
I've never traveled out of the country before, though.
Well,
that would be hard.
That's true. You have to kind of learn to communicate and adapt.
What about The Bachelor?
That's clearly me.
Or The Bachelorette, I guess.
I mean, chicks dig me, so why wouldn't I be great on that show?
Did you see they're doing a Golden Bachelor?
They're doing an older
guy.
That's great. And I'm dead serious. Someone needs to do just a knockoff called The Fatchler. And all these hot chicks show up, and the dude's portly. Just watch how ugly that would get behind the scenes.
People would want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Would they be chocolate roses?
Like, good-looking guy, but he's about 300 pounds. And not like an offensive lineman.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you can go find a good-looking 300-pound guy just based on frame alone.
Like, let's think when he was younger, Eric Stonestreet.
All right.
So you're saying that Eric Stonestreet could be the Golden Bachelor?
Ooh, we got some good crossover here.
All right.
Yeah, let's move on.
From JBKSU forever, because Zach doesn't like me saying underscores.
Underscore.
Yeah, I've forbidden Cole from saying the underscores now.
Cole, is there one of those lines at the bottom of the line there? Like that,
yeah,
that one? Okay.
I think that's what it is.
It should have a name.
If every Big 12 team played round-robin style football games with all players being copies of the school mascot, a la Fitz, you probably don't get this reference, but NCAA Football 24 had a mascot mode where it was the mascots were playing against each other.
Stupid.
That's amazing.
It is incredible. That's all I could think about at Media Days. Who would win in a normal season and who would be in the championship game?
Now, are we talking about
So Will Howard is in a Willie costume.
No, all players are the same.
Is that what that said?
Oh, wait, I guess all players being copies
of the school
okay,
mascot.
I guess. Maybe. Well, see, the way I look at it is every mascot is the same.
Okay.
Same stats.
I got
So,
you.
like 99 speed.
Sure.
89 jumping, like all that, same for everybody.
It'll be a tie. Every game will be a tie.
No, each team's mascot is
Well, the Mountaineer is not winning.
Mountaineers
Based on my experience at Big 12 Media Days, the Bearcat will win every game.
I would agree.
It is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. Not just because it's got this weird head and one giant tooth on the top and bottom. The dude inside of it's 7 feet tall. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
He was an absolute unit.
He was huge.
Did you guys see the BYU Cougar swing dance with the Oklahoma State cheerleader?
Look, I'm telling you what, Cosmo is on a different level as a mascot.
He was getting a little too close to that cheerleader, I think. I saw the AD said to make sure he leaves some room, too.
Cosmo does acrobatics.
Cosmo did multiple backflips off the stage before the day started on Thursday.
The weirdest thing I've seen Cosmo do is they stack tables, and he does push-ups where he pushes himself up and jumps up a table, and pushes himself and jumps up a table.
Sounds like
it's incredible.
Sounds like
I can't imagine
he needs to get signed.
I can't imagine doing it, let alone doing it in a cougar costume with a head, and he doesn't have human hands. He's got cougar hands.
I think it's ridiculous how small Cosmo's head is. Like, it is like luchador type mask, how slim that thing fits.
So that he can do the acrobatics.
Sure, but like you could give him a little bit more of a proportional jug, Like take my
proportional jug.
Like take my head and put it on there and look a little better.
It's a giant noggin. Look at the size of his head.
He's got a peanut in his head. I can't do it as good as Gilbert, sorry.
Did you clip those?
What?
The college game day where all the players are doing the Frank Martin impersonations?
Oh, yeah. No.
You probably should clip that just for the overtime and just put that in your little overtime files so we don't have to listen to Cole's bad impression of the bad impression.
Yeah,
okay. Willie probably has a decent chance just because he does have human arms and human legs and human hands. I think that having human hands to catch a football is definitely beneficial. But he's wearing pads too. Like,
that's true.
Willie is the most football equipped individual. Pistol Pete is terrible. Too big of a head.
I'm telling you, though, these guys got guns, okay? They can use them.
I don't think you can use guns.
I don't know. What a way to clear a space in the line to run through. Just kill people.
This is an E-rated video game.
It's good sound effects. I added that. That was not cold. I added that.
Like, Texas Tech, no. I'd actually put Willie versus Super Frog is actually a pretty good matchup, I think. All Willie versus all Super Frog. It's pretty fair. But Cincinnati's just huge. And it's not Big J or Baby J.
By the way, I saw Baby J out of costume. The person is actually smaller than I thought they'd be.
Was it a girl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was probably 4'6".
They're very small.
Tiny Baby J.
Interesting.
Can we move on?
From Hard Times Cat. In honor of NFL training camp starting soon, each of you is individually given an NFL expansion franchise.
Okay.
What city, state would you put it in, and what is the team name, colors, and mascot?
I would probably go with San Antonio. I don't know what the mascot would be.
The Alamos.
Well, no, you got to find something like Defenders, but that's not good. But anyhow, I think that's a logical place to put in a full team now that Vegas has one. I don't know what my colors would be. I'd also like to just add, a team like in Charleston or some places this makes no sense, like Green Bay. You know? I mean, Green Bay doesn't make any sense, but...
Like Virginia Beach.
Right.
Newport News.
Right.
And that's like the biggest area without a pro sports franchise or something.
Yeah. The Virginia Beach Destroyers.
Perfect.
It's got a giant naval base. Your colors can be blue and silver and whatever else. There we go.
The Toronto Drakes.
Oh, I like it. They better win a championship. If
Now,
they want it.
would their mascot just be Drake, and just that's what you put onto the field?
Like he's on the sidelines anyhow. He'll be on the sidelines.
He's the mascot. They got or you could be the Toronto OVOs, and you could be the Toronto Owls. I guess that's another logo for OVO.
Yeah, Toronto Owls would be pretty good.
Black and gold. You get Drake as the owner. Hey, sign me up.
I'd love to see a sports team up in like Montana, or just like just the where. Like North Dakota is like closest to like Minnesota or Denver, for their sports teams. Like put somebody have like the Frontier Cowboys or something where it's just you're a regional upper whatever team.
I'm pretty sure John Dutton's trying to make that happen. And like that's what the new season of Yellowstone is.
It's going to be about him putting a football program on his family land.
Yes.
I'd also want,
and then he has to draft him because he's the general manager.
And he's going to make Beth the trainer.
Yeah, I haven't watched the show. I'm sorry.
Well, but what horrible movie was Costner in where he was like draft day?
Yes.
Yeah, there you
go. The other thing I'd want to do is put a franchise in Kansas City, a second franchise in Kansas City, just to see how well it would do. Like just as an experiment,
like
just
a
like
football franchise.
Absolutely. If Manchester can have Manchester City and Manchester United,
that is amazing.
When you think about soccer and how close all of these teams are, and it's not just the Premier League; it's all the leagues down. These even in the second divisions, they've got big stadiums. I'm curious how many people in Kansas City, if you put it in Overland Park or whatever, the Kansas City Commanders, for lack of a better team idea, how many people would say I'm that fan now?
Ryan Gilbert
instead of a Chiefs fan, but how many people would be fans of both for at least a little while? How many fans would say, because they would obviously alternate weekends. They wouldn't necessarily share a stadium, but in markets like that, you're not having games on the same weekend. So you'd alternate games. I think it'd be really interesting. And not necessarily just Kansas City. Do it in any other market. Like, let's say Dallas-Fort Worth. Go put a team in Fort Worth. Move the Cowboys to Dallas. See how it would work. I'd be fascinated because I think that at least an area like that, I think you could pull off two teams. Granted, I think you should put a team in Austin before you put a team in Fort Worth.
The largest metro area without a professional franchise in soccer.
But I think that I truly think you could put an NFL franchise in any city, maybe other than Green Bay, that already has an NFL franchise. And I think that after 5 to 10 years, especially if one of the team, if the new team can be, good or better than the other team, I think you could potentially, for the most part, handle two franchises. I think it sounds crazy. But
I'll say this: one area that I think could handle a second NFL franchise, Las Vegas, because so much of the stadium, Oakland or Raider fans, I should say, are complaining because so much of the stadium is filled with visitors because everyone goes to that game. I mean, Gilbert's going to watch the Steelers. I think you put another franchise in Vegas and it would do okay. People would go. There's plenty of rooms.
The Las Vegas Hangovers.
Ooh, that's perfect.
The last question of the overtime from Ohio PowerCat. What thing did you do as a child that kids today are missing out on?
Riding your bike.
Let's see. What did I do? I walked uphill both ways to school.
Yep.
In the snow. I never looked at my phone. I stayed out until the street lights came on. That's when I had to come home. I had to. We didn't have electricity. We didn't have internet.
Okay.
It was calling
your friend's house, the landline.
Right.
Does to see if they could hang out.
So much of my childhood is just completely unrelatable to what people currently understand. We didn't have a cell phone. You called their house and you let it ring 10 times before you hung up. I mean, it was just crazy. You want to go get your friends together? You don't text them. You get on your damn bike and you ride to the first guy's house and say, let's go.
I did that. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, and then let's go. Let's just keep going. You just go. You get your posse put together and go play some ball or whatever. It takes a while, but yeah. I mean, my Life Fits podcast this week was I talked to my sister and like you left the house. You would be put to work inside that house, so you left the house and did activities. If you were smart, you'd pack some food, but most of the time we just went out and we knew we had to be back home before the street lights were on.
Things that I did as a kid that kids are missing out on today is going to the country club and playing 18 holes of golf and then going to the pool and getting chicken tenders or nachos or a burger and having just a whole day up at the country club.
Mm-hmm.
Frozen yogurt from Little Cabana.
I think one of the biggest developments.
That's what kids are missing out on.
That I think actually.
That sounds extremely. I know you're being completely sarcastic there. Just let everyone know that was extremely sarcastic from Zach. It was not in any way.
But like it really,
it
really is just funny how. Like that was just like the summertime thing though for me and my friends. Like we'd hang out, we'd go play golf. I mean, like I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure there's kids that are like that playing golf and hanging out and doing that. But like when you think of kids, like they're not going and playing baseball or sports or just spending time outside as much as
we played.
We did.
So what I would always go, and my friend, he lived right across the street from the neighborhood pool. And so we would have a tennis ball that we would play baseball with. And then we would just eventually do a home run derby. Mm-hmm. And the goal would be to try and hit the ball into the pool. And it was always really hard to do that. It was kind of far away. Well, I would find myself as I got older able to do that. And one time I hit the ball and it went into the pool and hit a little kid who was in the pool in the head.
You got bonus points.
And the mom turned around and was yelling at us. And so we had to get on our bikes and ride away.
Attaboy. Way to run from the crimes you commit.
Right. That was also the same pool that we snuck into at like 2 a.m. when we were in high school.
I'm going to have a controversial take as we wrap up this episode. I think sports are too organized now. There's too many competitive traveling teams instead of just playing in a city league where you're playing against other people that and having fun. And now it's just like all events are like weekend long trips for the family. I just think it's too much, too competitive at times. I think it's stealing some of the fun from the games for the kids. Yeah. Maybe.
As much as I hated that I could never make a competitive baseball team, I'm glad I didn't because I got to golf more and City League baseball was not as lame as we probably thought it was. It was actually decently fun.
Mm-hmm. No, I had fun playing.
And it
back
sucked.
then, all you had was American Legion.
Right. It sucks though that Manhattan, as far as Parks and Rec, youth sports, participation levels are probably at all-time lows.
Yep.
It's frustrating, but it was always fun going out to the ballpark as a kid. All 4 fields are going. You're playing the late game, so it's cooler. It's dark. It was fun.
I agree.
And here I am about ready to go drive 12 hours to Baton Rouge, Louisiana to sit in 110-degree humidity.
Humidity.
Yeah. Watch kids.
And let me just assure you
something else.
Well, I will say we do we're going up against a team that is 15 that already has 8 kids committed to LSU. So we'll put that into perspective.
A 15-year-old team, 8 kids are committed?
Yes.
They don't have offers.
Committed.
8 kids are committed, and they're 15 years old.
Yes.
That's a whole nother issue.
I'm committed to ending this podcast. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to the PowerCat Podcast. Make sure you're subscribing to our show at Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. PowerCat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com.
Fill me in. What happened?
30 years ago, the convent stole our children.
Ruth Wilson and Daryl McCormick star in the new Showtime original series, inspired by true events, The Woman in the Wall.
They're trying to bury this. All of it. The whole world looks for some people, but others just disappear.
Girls were locked up and children were stolen. And you're trying to tell me no one knew anything about it?
I'm just trying to find my child!
The Woman in the Wall, now streaming on Paramount Plus, only with the Paramount Plus with Showtime plan.
Sunday, the AFC Championship, presented by Intuit TurboTax, is on CBS. The defending champion Kansas City Chiefs go on the road once again to face top seed Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, with a trip to Super Bowl 58 on the line.
That's a touchdown!
We'll get you set for kickoff at 1 Eastern with a special 2-hour edition of the NFL Today, the AFC Championship, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.